Formula One fans, Ferrari has a secret advantage they absolutely must not underestimate. 2026 will be decisive for the prancing horse's future, and there's an ace up the sleeve that could make the difference. What is it? Charles Leclerc! The Monegasque could be Ferrari's secret weapon in this new era of nervous and complicated cars to drive. The new 2026 cars will be more nervous, have less aerodynamic downforce, more critical rear-end management, and controlling the limit will be more complicated for all drivers on track. And Leclerc in recent years has gotten used to driving precisely these complicated cars. The last example goes back to last season, where with an SF25 that was nothing short of disastrous, he performed miracles behind the wheel. An almost heroic pole position in Hungary, nearly winning a race lost through no fault of his own. The Ferrari driver has the experience, talent, and ability to extract the maximum from difficult cars, and this in 2026 could be the decisive advantage Ferrari must not underestimate. Stay with me because what I'm about to tell you will change your understanding of Ferrari's 2026. As we all know well, in 2026 all hierarchies seen in recent years will change, given a regulatory change that will shuffle car performance. Ferrari, after recent years' disappointments, must do everything possible to return to fighting for the world title. And in this sense, it has a very important possible advantage on its side, which however will depend almost entirely on the Maranello team. 10 days now remain until the SF26 presentation, with latest news about the new car not making anyone smile given delays on the schedule. However, it's absolutely not the moment to express any judgment, since we're only at the initial phases of a completely new journey. A hint of performance we'll see directly in Australia for the season's first qualifying, and until that moment there won't be clear ideas on where the prancing horse and others will be. It's true there have been delays on the schedule, it's true some news doesn't make one smile, but it's also true we're at the beginning of a completely new cycle. Hierarchies will be reshuffled, anything can happen, and Ferrari has an advantage many underestimate. One certainty Ferrari has relied on in recent years is definitely Charles Leclerc, with the Monegasque who in this 2026 could make the difference over others with his talent. The new cars will be more nervous and have less aerodynamic downforce compared to those of the latest technical regulations. Additionally, there will be more critical rear-end management, and in this way, managing the limit will be more complicated to control for all drivers on track. And here comes Ferrari's advantage. Leclerc already has experience with difficult, nervous, complicated cars to drive. The Ferrari driver in recent years primarily has gotten used to driving complicated cars. And the last example goes back precisely to last season, where with an SF25 that was nothing short of disastrous, he performed quite a few miracles behind the wheel. Obtaining an almost heroic pole position in Hungary and nearly winning then lost through faults certainly not attributable to him. That pole position in Hungary was an absolute masterpiece. With a car that had no right to be on the front row, Leclerc managed to extract it from Q3 like a magician. He drove on a knife's edge, controlling a nervous rear, managing an imprecise front, finding time where there wasn't any. And this ability to adapt to difficult cars, to drive over the car's problems, to extract performance where it shouldn't be, is exactly what will be needed in 2026. Because the new cars will be difficult for everyone, nervous for everyone, complicated for everyone. But Leclerc has already spent years driving cars like this. While other drivers will have to learn to adapt, Leclerc will already start with an advantage. He already knows how to drive a nervous car, already knows how to manage a critical rear end, already has the necessary experience. The 2026 cars will have very specific characteristics. Less aerodynamic downforce compared to the ground effect era, which means less stability, less mechanical grip, more ease of losing the rear. Complicated energy management, with the battery depleting multiple times per lap. Active aerodynamics requiring constant driver input, setups that will need to be perfectly balanced, and above all, a rear end that will be much more complicated to manage. All these characteristics favor a driver who already knows how to drive difficult cars. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton also needs a competitive car to make a difference and overturn a bad 2025. Hamilton is an absolute champion, one of the best in history, but he spent years driving dominant, stable Mercedes cars with lots of aerodynamic downforce. The ground effect era didn't please him precisely for this. The cars were heavy, unstable, nervous. And Hamilton struggled to adapt. If the 2026 cars will be even more nervous, even more difficult to control, Hamilton could struggle even more. Obviously, for the Monegasque to make a difference, the prancing horse has the absolute duty to produce a car that can at least fight in the high zones. Because if obviously they started behind, there could be no miracle that could save the situation. Leclerc can perform miracles, but he can't transform a midfield car into a winning one. He needs a competitive base, a car that at least fights for podiums, and if Ferrari gives him a competitive car, Leclerc can make the difference with his talent. And should the SF26 not be championship material, Leclerc's permanence itself would be almost totally at risk, and this is almost certain. Leclerc has already waited too long for a winning Ferrari. If 2026 is another year of disappointments, it's difficult to imagine he'll stay. For this reason too, 2026 for Ferrari will be nothing short of crucial. For the hope of fighting at the top during coming years and for the possibility of doing so with one of the strongest drivers in the circus. Ferrari cannot afford to waste this advantage. So let's recap what is the secret advantage Ferrari absolutely must not underestimate. Charles Leclerc. A driver who already has years of experience with nervous, difficult, complicated cars to drive. A driver who has demonstrated the ability to extract miracles from disastrous machines. And in 2026, with cars that will be nervous for everyone, with less aerodynamic downforce, with critical rear-end management, with complicated limit control, Leclerc will start with an advantage. While others will have to learn, he'll already know what to do. This is the situation. Ferrari has a secret advantage absolutely not to underestimate in 2026. Charles Leclerc, driver with difficult car experience, used to driving nervous machines like SF25, heroic Hungary pole with disastrous car, ability to extract miracles. 2026 cars will be nervous, less aero downforce, critical rear-end management, complicated limit control. Leclerc's advantage because he already knows how to drive like this, while others will have to learn. Hamilton could struggle, used to stable dominant Mercedes cars. But Ferrari must give competitive car. Leclerc can't perform miracles with midfield machine, needs podium-based minimum. If SF26 not championship material, Leclerc's permanence at risk waited too long for winning Ferrari. 2026 crucial for Ferrari. Fight at top coming years with one of strongest drivers in circus. Cannot afford to waste this advantage.